But then another trending stock from yesterday was RIVN. And RIVN's been a company that's been busy lately. They've had a lot of news. They've had a lot of catalysts. EV sector's been hot because Tesla's been moving higher. Tesla's one of the top gaining stocks in the markets this year. So you've had a lot of tailwinds in the EV sector, and RIVN's got its own catalyst. So Adam asked me yesterday, hey, Mike, what is your analysis? How would you trade RIVN today? Let's go ahead and play the clip from yesterday.
2 minutes, RIVN, go for it.
So RIVN's got some positive catalysts, okay? You have obviously the positive news from Tesla has been pulling RIVN up with it. But RIVN is in final negotiations with Amazon to allow them to actually sell their vans to other buyers. Now, that could be a really good catalyst for RIVN, but the stock has had a huge run in the last week and a half. I mean, this was a $13.50 stock a week ago. It is now up to $20.50. You have a lot of resistance up here around this 21.5 to 22. What I think may happen here with RIVN is I think the easier trade at this point, if you asked me this a couple of days ago, I would say, if you asked me this yesterday or today, I would say I like to trade long for more upside. I still think there's a little more upside, but I think the easier trade where there's still more meat on the bone is actually going to be a fade and a pullback off of 21.5 or 22. If you look at my screen right now, you see you have this big resistance level right here in January and February, and that goes all the way back to the previous low from the initial sell-off there in May. So that's going to be a huge level for us for RIVN once you get into this level. And then you also have the 200-day moving average, which is this yellow line you see on my screen that lines up right there at that zone. So what I would be looking for here on RIVN, you had support today around 1950. I'd look for 1950 to continue to be support. I think there's a little bit more upside left on RIVN. And then I think off of 21.5 area, 21.5, then I think the stock starts to pull back. And I think you can trade this both ways. Long up to 21.5, 22, and then fade that back to 1950.
Done?
Yep. All right, guys. So there you have it. So that was my analysis from yesterday on how would you trade RIVN. And I said 1950, look for that to continue to be support. I think there's more upside on RIVN. So you take the long at 1950, ride that thing up to 21.5, 22 resistance, and then look for there to be resistance up around 21.5 to 22. Let's take a look and see what happened with RIVN today. 1950, we drew the line right there on my screen yesterday. Let's draw it back there today. So for those of you that can see it, there's 1950. And you can see that it was a nice level of support for the stock yesterday. And then prior to that, you can see prior day's close on July 3rd. It was the close of the day. So 1950 was the close from July 3rd. It was the low of the day from July 5th. And then you come into the markets today, and what happens right off the opening bell? We drop right down back into where? 1950. There it is. There's the 1950. We said look for that to continue to be support. There is your support, and the stock then starts to rip and roar to the upside. Right now, trading higher after hours, right now, 2170, right off that 1950 level. Now you are approaching the level of resistance. What I said yesterday was, I think you can trade this both ways. I think you can be long off of 1950, but then once you get up towards 2150 to 22, then I think maybe the stock starts to give you a little bit of a pullback. It's a very strong move in the stock today. I would not just come in and just go ahead and short the stock right now. It is a strong move. You're back over the 200-day moving average, but I want to see tomorrow, if we get a failure off 22, like if tomorrow, let's say tomorrow we gap up right here, right? And then all of a sudden you put in a candle that looks like this, and you get this big, deep red candle right off the opening bell, then I would say, okay, let's look to see if we can fade this back to 21 support is where I would be definitely taking a piece of profit off the table, because 21 was a level of resistance, and now you look for it to become support. So here it is. There is 21 resistance from July 3rd, and there was 21 resistance from highs of the day today before the breakout late in the day. So if you do take this trade short at 22, look to take some profits off at 21. So far, the first half of this trade worked out beautifully. The long off of 1950 up to 21.5, 22, that worked out beautifully. So congratulations. I know a lot of members capitalized and caught this trade. They stepped in right here and got long the stock right in front of that 1950 and were able to capitalize on the afternoon move. So we were, again, that's now 2 for 2, correct on the analysis from last night's live stream, helping you guys identify some opportunities to make some money in the markets